Don't block your blessings by being greedy and prideful. Welcome back. It's your boy Chris Wright, and thanks for checking in and tuning in to another episode of a Quick Little Work podcast. To jump straight into it, I want to talk about people blocking their blessings. And I want to talk specifically about, as we all know, what happened. If you are on social media, then you know the situation that happened with Keith Lee and the food truck situation in, I believe, Dallas, Texas. So the brother Keith went to bless this struggling small business, and in the process, he decided to give a financial blessing to those that were present. He gave specific instructions to those that were present. However, those instructions wasn't followed, which ultimately led to a lot of drama and chaos surrounding the situation online and on social media. Everybody had an opinion, and a lot of people had the same sentiment about how the owner of the establishment of the business, as well as her son, Holly, blocked their blessing. And I want to talk about how we sometimes get in our own way because of greed and being extremely prideful. Now, God will test you just to see what you gonna do with what he's provided. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me at all. Sometimes God will test you where you are just to see how you can handle it or how you will handle it. We often fail those tests because we're not prepared. We're not prepared for the blessing. You know, we have this notion that, you know, we have to be extremely greedy and prideful about the blessing because it may not come back and we may not get another opportunity. And that scarcity mindset is a big problem in our community, in the Black community, especially when it comes to, you know, business owners and people that's trying to make it, whether it be an artist, you know, you're trying to get into the entertainment industry. You kind of just grab whatever you can and you want to hold on to it when you're not supposed to. You know what I mean? And the problem with that entire situation that happened with the food truck is that God sent Keith. Keith, as a disciple, gave specific instructions on how the money was to be divided. And the food truck owner, throughout the course of a few days, kept doubling down on her stance with the money. You know, $1,000 was supposed to go to one individual, another $1,000 was supposed to go to another. The food truck owner was supposed to keep $2,000, and I think there was some other money left for free food. But instead, at the time, and I believe that everything has been cleared up since then, to an extent, and it didn't come without a lot of back and forth and headache amongst social media and creators. Keith is not the drama type, you hear me? But he did clarify how he intended for the money to be spent. But to go back, like, the money was supposed to be divided how he saw fit. And instead, the owner decided to keep it all to herself because she felt like those people weren't deserving of it. Now, we aren't deserving of a lot of things that God give us. You know what I'm saying? Like the blessings that he sends us and give us. We aren't deserving of it. But who are we to say that this disciple of Christ, Keith Lee, who came to be a blessing to you, and also said he wanted to be a blessing to the others that were out there, but you felt like he wasn't, those other individuals wasn't worthy of receiving a blessing. You know what I mean? We aren't worthy of receiving a lot of things, a lot of the blessings that God gives us. So to question their worthiness without looking in the mirror says a lot about the individual, right? And again, I say to you, God will test you where you are. God will test you where you are just to see how you'll handle that test before he brings you to the next level. And oftentimes that test is a complete failure. Because we're prideful. We're prideful people. Human beings we can literally get in our own way. You know, and you gotta be ready for the blessing. And see, oftentimes when blessings come up, God sends people to bless us. A lot of times we kind of get standoffish. You know what I mean? Sometimes we kind of look sideways because the blessing don't look like what we expect it to look like or what we want it to look like. Sometimes the blessing doesn't come wrapped in a pretty bow in nice wrapping paper. Sometimes it's delivered in a plastic bag. Sometimes it just comes in a beat up cardboard box. But because we were expecting for the blessing to be glamorous, we were expecting for it to be shiny and bright and pretty, we kind of turn our nose up to it. You know what I mean? You can't do that when you're expecting God to make a way for you. Because God is going to make a way. Now, you may not like that way. You may not like the way out that he provides, or you may not like it, but he's going to provide a way for you. Sometimes the blessing going to come from the person that you don't like. You know what I mean? You got to be ready for it, though. You got to be prepared. If you expecting it to be, perfect, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss your blessing. You know what I mean? The next thing I want to touch on is, as a people, specifically, us black folk, we have to get out of, like I said earlier, we have to get out of that scarcity mindset. Because oftentimes that's what holds us back. And I believe, in my opinion, I don't know the lady personally, you know what I mean, who owns the truck, who owns the establishment. But because of the lack in our community and the lack of support, the lack of resources and things like that, we want to hold on to everything. And that scarcity mindset, I feel like she saw like, oh man, this is $4,000. This can really turn and change my business or whatever. So instead of her fulfilling Keith's wishes, she decided to keep it for herself. And in the end, hurt her more than it helped. Because it is my belief and so many others that had she given the money to the people he instructed it to, that the business would have turned tenfold within the next, 48 to 72 hours. And I firmly believe that because we've all seen what the Keith Lee effect does, right? So she could have kept her $2,000, divvied out the other money the way it was supposed to be divvied out and given it to the right people. And the next day, she would have made that $4,000 probably 3 times over, 4 times over. And then that's not even to say the days to come after that. The following weeks, months. You see some businesses that Keith went to and blessed 4 months ago, 6 months ago, that are still thriving and booming from his review and his thoughts and opinions on the establishments, the food, the customer service, and things like that. So I believe that lady blocked her blessing. That's not to say God won't bless her again. However, like, for everyone else who's watching, man, be prepared, because you never know when it's going to come and how it's going to happen. And be sure to listen to the instructions, because sometimes, if you don't listen to the instructions, you're going to end up like this lady in her establishment, unfortunately. And it's my prayer and my hope that the lady can figure it out. And I want to touch on the people who are being really nasty and mean about it, right? Keith Lee's brand is not built upon that. However, some of the people who are leaving nasty reviews and hateful remarks and stuff, y'all are they're doing too much. Pray for that lady, because a lot of people feel like there's more going on and feel like that she's always been this type of person, or that's who she is, and that can very well may be true. I can't say that because I don't know on a personal level. But instead of crucifying her and just dragging her for filth, okay, y'all had some fun with it, but pray for the lady. Pray for her son. Pray for her establishment and her business. You know what I mean? Let's not be those people who literally like continuously beat you when you're down. She's already down. It's no point of continuing to kick and swing, and she's already down. We got to do better than that. But I say to you who are waiting on a blessing, who are waiting on God to turn things around for you, you waiting on God to show up and show out on your behalf. Don't miss your blessing by blocking your blessing. That is so important. Don't miss your blessing by blocking your blessing. Get out your own way. Get out the way, man. Sometimes we stand in the way of what God is trying to do for us. And that food truck incident is a perfect example. Standing in the way of your own fortune. God is preparing you for what's next. You got to meet God halfway with that. And then when the blessing come, man, receive it and accept it and do what you are told to do with the blessing. If God decide that he's going to send somebody to bless you with, 10 grand and he said, look, I want you to take, and God said, look, I want you to take 5 grand. I want you to put it in the bank, and I want you to take the other 5 grand. I want you to go and bless this person, that person, and give them this amount. Then you do that. You do exactly that. Don't be stubborn. And God is going to continue to bless you. You do what he says to do. You do what his disciples tell you to do when they come and they speak into your life. Pray over the blessings before they come, when they come, and after they come. And with that being said, man, that's all I got for you. You hear me? I appreciate you for tuning in to your boy in another episode of A Quick Little Word Podcast. Until next time, peace, love, and happiness.